Welcome back to the Poorly Educated podcast, where the facts are shaky, the accents are questionable, and the political insight is about as stable as a folding chair at a family reunion catfight. Today's episode is brought to you by the number 43, which apparently is how many days it takes the United States government to realize you actually do need money to run a country. Segment 1. The stalemate finally kicks the bucket. That's right, folks. After 43 long days of shutdown, President Trump strolled into the Oval Office and signed the Please for the Love of God Open the Government Act. Federal workers got the all clear to return to work, which is great because many of them were starting to forage like raccoons behind the Capitol dumpsters. Now this bill ain't your regular old CR. No, sir. It's a weird hybrid. It's like Congress took one part continuing resolution, one part full-year funding, and blended it like a political smoothie made of compromise and tears. USDA got full-year funding because SNAP benefits were about to evaporate faster than a beer at a tailgate. Meanwhile, everything else got funded only through January 30th, meaning we get to do this all over again like the world's worst subscription service. And the back pay? Federal workers get all of it, which is great because some folks haven't seen a paycheck since pumpkin spice season. And the layoffs the administration tried to sneak in? Reversed. They got shut down harder than my cousin Earl's attempt at opening a bar called Shots and Shovels. Segment 2. The whole mess began. Because healthcare is expensive and politicians are dramatic, Democrats wanted to extend the enhanced ACA subsidies. You know, the ones that kept middle-class folks from fainting when they opened their health insurance bills. These subsidies were set to expire December 31st, and Democrats said, "We will shut the entire government down before we let premiums double." And Republicans said, "Bet." Millions of Americans were staring down the business end of doubled premiums. Middle-aged folks especially were about to get hit so hard they'd be choosing between health care and heating bills. Democrats thought this would give them leverage. But turns out leverage don't help when the plane system collapses and people can't fly to grandma's for Thanksgiving without being stranded on a tarmac like cattle waiting for processing. Democrats thought the shutdown would force Republicans to budge. Instead, it forced Democrats to crumble like a gas station biscuit. A group of moderates said, "Look, we tried, but we're getting yelled at by our constituents, our unions, our own party, and even our own kids. We're done." And that was basically the end of the ACA leverage gambit. The shutdown ended, but the subsidies? Still set to explode like a possum in a pressure cooker. Segment 3. The chaos, the panic, and the hissy fits. Let's talk about how bad things got. Federal workers were standing in food bank lines. TSA officers were working unpaid overtime so long that some of them started hallucinating passengers who weren't there. Air traffic controllers were stretched so thin they could have been used as guitar strings. And the FAA finally said, "Nope, y'all gonna crash something," and slashed flights across 40 airports. Air travel dropped harder than my GPA freshman year. And honestly, at this point, I've seen yard sales run with more organization than this entire shutdown. Over 9,000 flights canceled. The worst day saw nearly 3,000 gone. People were stuck in airports overnight like unwilling cast members of a reality show called Survivor Gate B12. Meanwhile, SNAP beneficiaries, 42 million Americans, were told their benefits might be cut to 65%. A federal judge questioned the math harder than my granny questions my life choices. He ordered the administration to fully fund benefits. The admin appealed. The Supreme Court stepped in. And every poor family in America got tossed around like they were in a bureaucratic tornado. Segment 4. The Senate Meltdown and the Blame-a-thon. After 14 failed votes, 8 senators finally said, "We're done being extras in this soap opera," and crossed party lines to break the filibuster. And let me tell you, these 8 got roasted by their own party faster than a marshmallow over an open fire. Democratic leadership was mad. Progressives were furious. Governors said it was pathetic. Meanwhile, Trump went on TV yelling about extortion. Republicans called themselves heroes, and Democrats called it round 1 of a long war. Polls came out showing nobody won. Republicans got blamed for causing it. Democrats got blamed for prolonging it. Independents hated everybody equally, and honestly, that might be the most American thing I've heard all year. And the conspiracy mill? Oh, it churned. Some folks said the shutdown lasted so long so the House didn't have to vote on those Epstein documents. Whether that's true or tinfoil hat territory, I'll let you all decide. But let's just say the timing was mighty convenient. Segment 5, the Project 2025 Spectacular. Oh, buddy, here we go. Turned out the Trump administration wasn't just sitting around during this shutdown twiddling thumbs. Nope. They tried to use the shutdown to permanently fire thousands of federal workers. They sent out RIF notices like they were Oprah. You get fired! You get fired! Everybody gets fired! A judge stopped it because it was so blatantly political, it may as well have come with a campaign sticker. Then Trump jumped on Truth Social, bragging about meeting with Project 2025's own Russ Vought to decide which agencies to cut. When a president publicly says he's using a shutdown as a shopping spree for layoffs, that's not subtle. That's like Earl telling the sheriff, "Yes, I stole the lawnmower, but only because I wanted a faster getaway." Segment 6. The Corruption Coupon and the Next Crisis. Hidden in that 392-page bill was a shiny little nugget of corruption. A rider letting U.S. senators sue the government for $500,000 if their electronic records were searched as part of an investigation, retroactive to 2022. Funny enough, that's when the FBI pulled records in the Arctic frost probe. What a coincidence. Totally random. Nothing to see here. Democrats hated it. Republicans hated it. House members really hated it because only senators got the perk. It was the congressional equivalent of your sibling getting a pony while you get socks. But the shutdown had gone on so long, everybody held their noses and passed it anyway. And now? The government is funded only until January 30th. Just a few weeks until we roll the dice again. The ACA fight is still coming. Republicans already hinting they're voting no, Democrats sharpening their 2026 midterm talking points like knives at a barbecue cook-off. So buckle up. If you thought 43 days was wild, wait till Congress gets bored again. In conclusion, that wraps up today's Poorly Educated podcast. Remember, if you understood any of this, congratulations. You're already more qualified than half of Congress. See y'all next time, assuming the government doesn't shut down again before the next episode.